selling packs to those cancer sticks to those country hits like me.
Hey everybody, welcome to New Music 30, that Indianapolis music show that exposes you to all the different genres of music going down in the Indianapolis music scene. Tonight we've got a really good buddy of mine, one of my favorite musicians in the city, David Garza. Let's get right to it. Hey, thanks for doing the show. Welcome on board.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to what we got to talk about. So it's like probably the first time we met was Books and Brews.
Yeah, that's right. Gosh, what are we at? Like 3 years now, or
It's got to be at least.
like 4, maybe?
Yeah, it's probably
Time flies when you're having fun. But
right.
yeah, no, I mean, that was it. I moved to Indy from San Antonio, Texas, and I didn't know a soul. Took a job here doing urban planning work. So I had a day gig, but I have this whole musical side of myself, and I'm a songwriter. And so, I was looking for any place to play, and I happened to live in the area. So I was like, saw it on like openmic.com. I don't know what, some listing at the time.
Right.
So I was like, all right, let's go check it out. And, I was like, I'm at Home Depot. I don't think I'm in the right place. So
Yeah.
I was almost tempted to leave like the first night because I was kind of disoriented, but I had enough good sense to stick around. And I think, I don't know if we met the first open mic, but maybe the next one or two, and we just connected. And then, I started turning up, became my Thursday thing. I became a mug guy, and
Sure.
yeah, we started playing shortly after, and we just kind of have a natural rapport. We don't really rehearse. We just kind of, just falls into place. So yeah, that was my start in the indie scene, was just the open mics, and particularly Books and Brews. And then, I've since put together a kind of country cover band, and I'm starting to, record my own original music, which is kind of eclectic, I'd say. It's not really rooted in one thing or another, but so I'm working on a couple different musical projects in town, but indie's been really receptive to what I put out there, and I've definitely enjoyed the benefit of the audience and friendships here, and the venues, and just working on my art, really.
Totally. Yeah, I enjoy playing with you every time that it comes up. It's just like, oh yeah, especially just like you said, the ability to just kind of go, but we're playing tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever you came by the house.
Like 1 or 2 rehearsals.
You came by my apartment one time, I think.
Yeah.
And we played for an hour or two.
That's like our once every 3-year rehearsal, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably right. In fact, I was kind of giggling about the Duende video, because as I watched that, I realized that's the first time I heard that song and played it. So I went, and I hear, like that tiny mistake where I kind of went, oh, that's minor, dummy, and then I was playing a major chord, and I went, okay, well, that's fine. I got it.
You had not heard the song. I was like, I just wrote the song maybe like a couple days before it was all. And that's kind of the thing I love about us playing, is like, I just put you in the fire sometimes, and you.
Something about that day led me here to you, dancing with the moon, dancing with the stars, holding on real tight, spinning round and round. Come to me, my darling, help me find my ground, baby. I wanna dance with you, I gotta dance with you, babe. I wanna dance with you, babe. Baby, I wanna dance with you, I gotta dance with you, babe. I gotta dance with you, babe. Throw a coin in the fountain. the gypsy singing band, playing in the plaza in the southern Spanish land. Dancing Dorcas duende, casting nets in hand, moving a little closer, take me by the hand. Baby, I gotta dance with you. Oh, I wanna dance with you, baby. I gotta dance with you, baby. Baby, I wanna dance with you. Oh, I gotta dance with you, baby. I wanna dance with you, baby. Found a flamenco case to the gypsy made guitar, play a little rumba, play straight from my heart. Spirits in the moonlight, the spirits in the wild, the spirits in the strings that free yourself from time. Baby, I wanna dance with you. Oh, I gotta dance with you, babe. I wanna dance with you, babe. Baby, I wanna dance with you. Oh, I gotta dance with you. I wanna dance with you. Oh, baby, I gotta dance with you. Oh, I wanna dance with you. I gotta dance with you. Baby, I need to dance with you. Oh, I need to dance with you. I wanna dance with you. Thank you.
I love players like that that are just that have that improv like sensibility where it's not it's not just jazz or whatever, it's whatever
Right.
style they can just kind of intuitively figure out a pattern or
Right. Yeah, I've always considered myself having a decent ear.
Yeah,
you know, that's really that's what it comes down to. You know, I think a lot of people I don't think a lot of people can play that way. You know, I've run into a lot of folks over the years that are, you know, like that kind of situation just would terrify them to death.
Oh yeah, no, I've played with plenty of those musicians that are just like, oh my god, what is the game plan? Oh, where's the music? Where's the sheet music? Where's the chart?
Can I get the chord changes? You know, like
I need to hear this like 12 times, and that I like that unpredictability, because sometimes you crash and burn, and sometimes you do something pretty brilliant, and you're like, where did that come from?
Right.
It's that unknowing, that kind of. I love those live moments. That's what I guess I'm hoping to return back to. You know, whether it's in the studio or
Sure.
on a stage, in a live situation. I kind of am missing some of that. In addition to the writing, the performance like part of it's just as important to me. So yeah, I was to that point. I heard an interesting interview with a pedal steel player that played on. I think it might have been Cold Cold Heart or Lovesick Blues or something. Hank Williams Sr.'s song. He goes, I think it was Cold Cold Heart, and he goes, yeah, like that was, we did it we had one take, and that was the recording. And then that was the last time I saw Hank, before he passed. And I was like, oh shit.
Right.
Like that, the forever immortalized, song. It was like just done on one take. And I was like, that's incredible. Like,
right. Well,
you can't even hear. I mean, there's a word or two, but it's like it just sounds like Hank. You're not like
Sure.
So.
Well, it was a different time too.
It was, yeah.
I think a lot of times we in the modern age, we tend to overanalyze, every little molecule of a recorded piece of material,
Right.
and just anguish over every little, thing where it's like, oh, I backed up too far from the mic there.
Right.
Or, like whatever was that one thing that stuck out at you, when
Yeah.
in reality, most people are never gonna, they can listen to the song 100 times and not hear the same things that you did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of it's what makes music interesting, I guess.
Sure.
It's like,
Yeah.
you
We've,
know,
through these interviews, we've constantly been talking about how that relates to, just art in general, and
right.
how, like the perception of it is really the art. It's not the thing. It's
Right. It's the
it's the,
experience.
right. It's
Yeah.
what you take away. It's
Right.
what does it evoke in you? What does it bring to to your brain?
Right.
Whether it's reading a book and making that movie of that book in your head, which is
Yeah.
why everyone says, everyone will tell you the book was better.
Yeah, no, I think you need to have the listener or the viewer bring some of their own imagination, to the work. I think that's where the communication happens. I think,
Right.
and it's kind of out of your hands as the creator, I guess. You just trust that you have a process and you've done your work honestly, and you're true to yourself, and then see where it goes.
Right. Let people make up their own minds along the way.
People working in different genres, I think
Right.
that's part of the diversity too.
Well, and we do have that going on in indie.
Yeah.
It's just that most people don't cross over between their, where they sit.
They stay in their own little
Right. We all stay in our
yeah.
own cult,
Yeah.
I've called the singer-songwriter cult a number of times, and it's populated with a very kind of particular sound.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily call it an Indianapolis sound or anything like that,
Right.
but it's definitely there's
It's
definitely
just a little subculture, I think.
Right. There's definitely a Midwest kind of thing going on, and it's hard to put your finger on it, really. And hopefully that by doing a bunch of these, we'll be able to kind of go, here's what it is. Yeah, here's what it is, and then I'll let people make up their own mind of what Indianapolis music scene really is.
Yeah. There's
and,
so much talent. I think I was, I didn't know what to expect musically with Indianapolis because it doesn't really tell its story very well. It's got a little bit of history with the jazz and,
Yep.
And I learned that John Hyatt was from here, even though he's probably spent more years living outside Indiana than he has, but there's history if you look for it. And, there's a lot of talent here, and it's all different genres and, races and sexes and viewpoints. And I think that's cool.
Well,
I've had the good privilege to play with some of those people. There's probably more to play with, but yeah.
There's that vision, I think, that Indiana has as like a flyover state, it's just, and that I think musically people think that too, even people in the music scene kind of have that attitude that, like, well, we have to go play in Chicago, or we have to go down to Nashville, or even, even as far as to just kind of say, we got to go to Cincinnati, like, which doesn't seem any less of a flyover city to me than Indianapolis. But yet for some reason, people on the Indianapolis scene kind of feel like they need to get out.
It's a self-esteem issue, I feel like.
Right.
We've got great venues here. We've got, you can turn people out. Now that's debatable, how you consistently do that, or, it's not a live music city like a Austin or Nashville, but But I think enough people like the programming and culture, and they like to feel like they're part of something like that. So, haven't really done a lot of work cultivating an audience, and I've somehow been able to grow up a little microculture of that, without a lot of work. So it's like there are people that are curious about people doing stuff and, writing their own music and, incorporating different styles and, Exactly. I think that's too kind of the bifurcated nature of the venues and the scene. It's not all like, you have Fountain Square and you have, a couple other clusterings, but you have kind of these different, venues, and you have, the breweries that are having music too. And it's like, that's a whole other culture kind of marrying to the music culture. And, it's not really, it's not like Lower Broadway, or it's not
Right.
like on, 6th Street or whatever, Bourbon Street. It's not like a cohesive district, but I
Sure.
think there's diversity in terms of like acts that they book, and that kind of mix between like regional touring bands and local bands. I think you have like a venue like Duke's that's trying to kind of accommodate local talent with like regional and national acts too.
Sure.
And I think that's kind of an interesting model, because you can kind of cultivate some of the local talent too. I'm hosting a songwriter once a month there, once every month there. We did 2 of them. I had some friends come on. Cole and Megan did the last one, but we were supposed to do it in April and it got canceled. But that's kind of an interesting thing, kind of taking off, where we have more like roots oriented singer songwriters.
Yeah.
That are, I was kind of happy to have that platform where I can help showcase some of that, talent that's burgeoning. That it's not like it's kind of spread out everywhere. It's not like
Sure.
cohesively in one district. Or and my experience was like just having that stage, or that attention. People are really listening to the songs, and
Sure.
as a songwriter, I think that makes a world of difference. To know that there's ears for your material, and people are giving you feedback sometimes, and they're and you're getting to put new stuff out in front of them, and they're it's real time. It's like you're not like, no, I need to do like my Steve Miller Band cover here or whatever.
Julie's like it got a lot of history on it for you. That's I've probably played that song with you, every time we played together.
Yeah. That song was that song's been around for maybe 10 years now. Gosh, maybe I'm dating myself, maybe longer. So let's see, let me do the reverse math here. It was maybe in my early 20s. I was just kind of starting to write songs, and that one was one of those sit on your couch in 5 minutes you have a
Here it is.
very, very cohesive idea that's fully formed, and it kind of wrote itself. And I guess without having a lot of intention writing, I guess it was about thinking about my childhood. I had grown up as a twin. I had twin sisters in San Antonio, so thinking about how we'd spend time with our grandparents, and maybe that was kind of the seed in my head, but it kind of just did its own thing, and I wasn't like consciously like programming.
There wasn't a bunch of crafting to it as such.
No. Yeah, I wasn't like whittling it away, and it was kind of like the seed was there, and I guess it was a fully formed seed.
Sweet days of summer, we were happy, skinny little things. Another day, just to say I'm happy to be here with you. Remember how big your hands would look as you put on Grandma's garden bed.
But yeah, it's one of those kind of jazzier songs that's
right.
I love jazz music, like the more of the traditional jazz stuff. I like bebop and stuff too, but yeah, I like kind of that old Dixieland jazz thing, and it's kind of it has some of that sensibility to it. You know?
Well, that's kind of one of the things that I like about your songwriting is just that, you know, like I always feel like I can sit in really easily, and not because I'm, you know, awesome or anything like that. It's just more that there's a familiarity to it that you can't quite go, well, this is this and this is this.
Yeah.
It just kind of as a whole feels like something comfortable, you know, as a song.
You kind of know. It's like walking into an American Craftsman, like architect or something like.
One last thing I always like to end with before I get you out. I always like to ask people, like, tell us where we can find your, like, where can these people find your music? Now, I know you don't have any recordings out there.
Well, that's what I'm working on now, and honest to God, I am working on it. So, they can find me at Texas Singer-Songwriter on Facebook. David Matthew Garza Music. That Texas Singer-Songwriter is my handle, but I'm trying to get a web page out there. I'm gonna do a whole rollout when I have the record done and have a debut platform, and I'll probably create a Instagram page too and more of that stuff.
Sure.
Right now I'm just on Facebook. They can find me there, David Matthew Garza Music. All my dates and live videos are on there, and this content will go up there too. I've actually so you're talking about the creative thing, and during the quarantine I put a couple poems up there too, some more written word kind of thing. So I put like 2 or 3 up there the last few months. So just creating little content, artistic content beyond just music.
Sure.
I like to write poems too, so it's a whole other side of me. But David Matthew Garza Music has that, and just kind of updates on the album when that's coming along. And I gotta book your time at some point.
You know where to find me.
Not hard to find you, but I'm excited about this record though.
I'm glad you're finally getting around to it. I went through your page, I went through like your Facebook today, just like kind of scrolling through some stuff, and I noticed that it was like the beginning of March, and it was like a picture of a beat up Fender amp.
Oh yeah.
Jerry Miller's here to record it, and I go, that's right. He was kind of getting into a recording.
Jerry
did like some test stuff, like months and months ago, and it's like, oh yeah, he's back to record. It's like that's on again. And I was, you kind of went into it a little bit when we were talking, so I was like, oh, I need to.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fantastic. Jerry had a great session. We've got some other cast of characters I'm trying to wrangle, and I think the track listing is going to be really cohesive too. So it's going to be a real album, not just a collection of singles. Yeah, it's a little of everything. It's the country, the Texas country thing. It's the alt country. It's the alt Latin sounds, and little rock and roll stuff thrown in. It's
the David Garza album.
It's the David.
The David Garza sound. Like that's I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. It's like you're the mix of what you are. And that's.
It's all those things. It's a party tray is what it is.
Where are you recording?
I'm working with Milkman.
Okay.
Cam and Rob. Cam Melton and Rob Glass. Those guys are great. They're really good at what they do, and they've been awesome with me. And we're all itching to get back at it. And
sure.
It's just a passion project for them. It's a passion project for me. So, our values kind of align on that, and then. Nice. Being able to have the freedom to bring in the cast of players I want and kind of put the arrangements together I want is great. It's going to be a full band experience. So
nice.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I hear what's going down. So, well, thanks for doing the show, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. This was fun. I'm glad to be in the inaugural season.
Yep. I'm just going to run them until I don't have any people left. And hopefully that won't run out anytime soon. So well, that's it for tonight. Thanks for hanging out with New Music 30. I'm Brent Schlemmer. Special thanks to David Garza for always having me sit in when you can. I'll see you guys next Saturday at 9 o'clock for another episode of New Music 30.
Everyone knows my name. They can read it on my sleeve.